to the Inland Sports Show. Your leader in sports in the Inland Empire. Now, here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
What is up? It's a big Wednesday across the Inland Empire, and welcome to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. So much to talk about it. Jeff Gorham and myself, Pep Fernandez, will be here for the next 3 hours breaking it all down because, of course, the hot button topic is the coaching switch for the UC Riverside men's basketball team. It's taking on a life of its own right now, Jeff, on social media.
Yes, it is. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. A lot of positives for Coach Cutts, which I'm really happy to see. I mean,
he's such a good guy.
He's a good guy, and the coaching community has really embraced Coach Cutts and questioning this firing.
Yeah, so it's just the timing of it's strange. Now, if they would have said, hey, UCR had a bad season at the end of the year, they wanted to go in a different direction, it's kind of how it works out, right? It's kind of how it goes. But to do it right before conference play, I think that has a lot of people scratching their heads. But we'll find out what the Highlanders are going to look like when they take on Cal State Fullerton tonight. It'll be the head coaching debut for interim head coach Justin Bell, the associate head coach and a former Highlander player. He was good back in his day, 2006, 2007, man. He could ball out.
A great player. Beat me when I was coaching at Riverside Community College when he was at Saddleback. And
he beat you head-to-head?
Yeah, well, I didn't play. I was coaching, and he beat me, and they won a state championship that year. And I remember him as being really a floor general and one of the dudes.
So here's his 2006-2007 season when he was a senior. He started 30 games at UC Riverside.
Not bad.
He was the team captain. He led the team in minutes played, three-pointers, assists, and third in scoring. That's a baller.
Not a bad year or a bad career for that young man. He's from San Diego, coached at Concordia University. Really good friends. I don't know if many people know this. He's very, very good friends with Rick Roy across town over at CBU.
Oh, is he really?
Very good friends, yes.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How did they cross paths, do you know?
Well, you remember Rick Roy was the coach at Citrus College.
Yeah, Citrus College.
And I know that they've, when they were, when he was at Concordia, I know that there was a closeness between the two staffs. I think his name is Victor, was the head coach at Citrus College after Coach Croy, and he is now an assistant at Seattle University. So they all
look at all all the guys.
I just have mind blown right there. I just remembered names. They're really good friends. I know from talking to people, and I know both of them, and both good guys. I hope Justin Bell succeeds and does a great job. He's one of those guys you root for. He's a nice man. He's a good family man. His wife's an assistant coach for the Highlanders as well, for the women's program.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys you root for, and it's tough because he's in that interim situation, and he might just be playing out the rest of the season as the interim coach because the athletic director said she was going to go on a national search.
Yeah, that's what's hard. You make a coaching switch, and we've talked about the fact that it's real personal. I mean, we could talk about the Raiders head coaching job, NFL coaching job.
Yeah.
But it's different because you see them from a distance.
Yes.
We know Coach Cutts. We know Coach Bell. Like, it's more personal. They're married. They have families. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it hits home. And with Coach Cutts having been released, you look at the fact that all the guys on his coaching staff, what does it mean for them? You see college football. A college football coach, we'll touch on Rich Rodriguez in the next segment.
Yes.
At University of Arizona. He's got his whole staff in place. They bring in a new head coach. What does that mean for everyone else? I mean, we're talking about kids. We're talking about mortgages. We're talking about families. Like, it's personal.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you. I've been in a situation as a college coach and as an assistant, and a situation like that happens. You're always looking for the next job, and those guys have to look for jobs for next year. They just have to because there's no guarantee for next year for them. You got, a really good coach. You got Rim, who's been a head coach. You have Wilkerson, who's ready to step in to be a head coach somewhere, maybe at a smaller school to get cut his teeth.
Former USC player, right? Yeah.
And Justin Bell, he has to look for a job. He can't just rely on saying, this is this year, I'm going to stay here. He can't do that.
Yeah.
So those guys, and you have a director of operations, Brian Weathers, who is
a local legend
and a great basketball mind. He's just stepping in the door in the college ranks.
He wants his shot.
And he deserves it. But now, on the back of their minds, on the front of their minds, I should say, is their future. They're going to have to coach this season, but knowing that they're going to have to look for other
Prepare
jobs.
for the future as well.
Because they're going to have to look for a job. There's no ands, ifs, and buts about it. They will be looking for jobs.
And that's tough. That's tough to focus on what's in front of you, which is Cal State Fullerton tonight.
Yes.
Big West Conference opener, but still, again, it's personal. I mean, there's a lot of things that factor into this, with Coach Cutts, being dismissed from the team. It affects all the assistant coaches. It affects the future of the program. It affects so many different layers, and again, it hits real close to home.
Well, it completely could have, because we don't know the outcome, for their recruiting class of the players they had already signed. That will set them back 2 years if they decommit, because the new guy's going to have to come in, and it's really tough to get kids into UC Riverside. I mean, if you're a local in-state kid, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think you have to have at least a 3-4 in your core classes.
You wouldn't have got in.
Well, I'm a Berkeley guy.
That's true. You got to Cal. I'll take that back. After I said that, I'm like, okay.
But no, I mean, honestly, I couldn't now because I'm too stupid. But but guys, it could set them back to a 2 full calendar years for these guys. And the thing is, Coach Cutts' players didn't leave his program. The last 4 years of the last 3 years, I should say, not one kid has left the program.
Yeah, Alex Larson has already broken the school record for starts in a career.
Yes.
And he's a senior now, and obviously he's been part of the Coach Cutts era.
Yeah.
And I think he's probably at 103, 104 starts.
Yeah, 103.
Does that sound right? Yeah.
And the tough thing is, kids aren't leaving, so they're not hating. They don't hate the coach. Usually when kids leave programs, they hate the coach because of playing time. No one's leaving. So you can't say that there was a problem there because guys stuck it out. But that is also a job that a lot of people, I think, would want. And the reason being is, they're middle of the pack Big West team. You go in and you make a splash and you do well. It can be either a stepping stone for somebody or a destination for others.
Well, we're like everybody else. We're curious to see how this is all going to pan out because it all begins tonight. On the road, Cal State Fullerton. Jeff will have the call. It's live at GoHighlanders.com. And then on Saturday night, we'll have the call together as they play on the road at UC Santa Barbara. I know we're going to talk about this later in the show.
Yes.
We're going to get into it. But these are 2 big road games right out of the gate. And the Justin Bell era is off and running, and he's only got a small sample size to kind of make his name as a head coach.
Yeah, he does. And, the tough thing is he's not opening conference at home. And the last 2 games that they lost, it was a long road trip. You go to Utah, Seattle, that's a tough road trip. And then you got to play 2 more on the road, going into conference play under a new coach, a new system, new everything, before you get to play at home next week. It's a tough uphill battle for Coach Bell. And one you go, you just scratch your head still thinking, man, this is rough on everybody.
Yeah, we've talked about it before, and I'm sure we're going to mention it several times in the next couple days. Sad to see Coach Cutts go,
yes.
But we're also excited to see what Justin Bell's going to bring to the table. And maybe the Highlanders will look different tonight. Who knows? Maybe he's going to put his own stamp on the program and do things maybe just a little bit differently.
Yeah, I think he probably will, and we'll get into this a little later in the show. I do think, though, that some changes will be made because the progress of young players in the program. So they're going to be really good. My question as a coach, and I know we're rehashing on this whole firing and so forth. If you're going to fire a coach and you're an athletic director, and I've known many college athletic directors, big-time college athletic directors, you have a drawer that you pull out, and you have a list of names that you already know that you want. You would hope that there's – because you never know. You might have to fire somebody or somebody resigns. You still have to have that wish list already in hand.
Yeah.
So I hope the doctor over there has a wish list in mind. If not, this firing is more questionable.
Well, I know you have a wish list, or maybe some names.
There are 4 guys that I think deserve the job.
Can you hold on to that?
I can.
Can we do the deep tease?
Yes.
We'll save it for the next segment.
Yes.
Okay, because we want to talk about Jeff has a short list. Because again, if you're new to the program or whatnot, Jeff, too humble to say it, or he used to be, but maybe not anymore. But he used to be too humble.
I'm big time now.
One of the greatest basketball players in Riverside County history. Longtime coach. He knows everybody. His phone is constantly blowing up. Actually, inside the show, like Jeff, who's calling you right now? And usually when you hold it up, someone's name that I recognize is on the caller ID.
Yeah, sometimes.
So in our next segment, we will touch on that. The fact that you have some, what do we call them, suggestions?
There are
some
4
names that you think would make a good fit.
There are 4 guys I think deserve the job, and I'll go 1 through 4 down the list, and we'll see how it turns out.
All right, so UCR taking on Cal State Fullerton tonight. The Highlanders 5-9 overall in the season as they head into Big West Conference play. And again, the head coaching debut for interim Justin Bell. It's all brought to you by our good friends at Spoiled. Quick quality oil change. You'll be spoiled by excellent customer service, excellent prices. They get you in and out so fast, you're going to love it. Spoiled off Alessandro Boulevard. Kin Sporting Goods, more than 40 years in the Inland Empire, bringing you all your sporting gear. And they also do the Letterman's jackets.
They do?
They've got embroidery right there in-house. I saw them do it. The sewing machine's just going like crazy. I was there. I was behind the scenes at Kin Sporting Goods. Boost Performance Training in Corona with Coach Ray Bass. You know, he'll coach up a variety of different sports. We've seen golfers go through there, lacrosse players, of course, football players, track stars. Athletes of all sports go to Coach Ray Bass at Boost Performance Training because they want to be their very best. The scholarship, the starting spot. They want to turn pro. For whatever your reason is, a New Year's resolution to just be better, right?
How about old guys? Can old guys go? Would they train me?
Old bald guys can go in there too.
I would love that. My wife would think I was hot again.
And Catalano Motors in Corona, off to Mescal Canyon Road. You can buy, trade, and finance with Derek Catalano. He's going to make it so easy to get that new-to-you car, or truck, or SUV. Because, again, man, sometimes you go on a car lot, it's just not fun. It's a headache. They come swooping in after you, not at Catalano Motors. If you want to totally bypass that whole car shopping experience, just go to Catalano Motors. Trust me, and they're going to make it so easy for you. No pressure. Derek Catalano's committed to making that experience a good one when you go get that new car or truck or SUV. All right, we come back here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Jeff is going to give us his short list of candidates for UC Riverside in no particular order, right? Just some names out there because you are in the basketball industry. You know the credentials of some of these guys. Who would make a good fit for the UC Riverside Highlanders? Who are the names out there? We're also going to talk on some other football headlines from the college football world as well as the NFL. And Kawhi Leonard, he's back, man. He's feeling good. He's putting up big numbers again, Jeff.
I'm telling you, he's second best player in the NBA.
Behind?
I hate to say it, probably LeBron.
Is LeBron still the best?
Yeah, probably.
There was that discussion on one of the other Fox national shows about who's the best players. Kevin Durant, the best now over LeBron.
I still like the little guy, Seth Curry.
Isaiah Thomas.
Curry.
Steph Curry?
Yeah, I always forget he and his brother. They're both the Currys. But no.
I thought you were going to say Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield. I love
Buckets.
that guy. But I really like Seth Curry. I just do.
All right, we come back. More on UCR, NBA, NFL. And then coming up in about, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we're going to have Dennis Pope, local soccer guru. There's so much going on in the soccer world right now, locally here in the Inland Empire, but also at the national level. Jeff, things are changing. In fact, I brought soccer up to Jeff, and he already knew what was going on. That's how big a deal it is right now.
If I know something about soccer, and I know more than I ever thought I would have. I was like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. They're going to elect a new president. They're going to, this whole system.
You knew it all.
I did. It's crazy.
Caught me off guard.
Yeah, I'm not that stupid.
All right, we'll be back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
When life gets you down, you know what you got to do?
I don't want to know what you got to do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
The Inland Empire's home for all things IE just got even better. Introducing the award-winning Inland Sports Show with Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham. Weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Your local sports leader in the Inland Empire.
We're small, family-owned, strive for quality pre-owned vehicles. We're not a volume dealer, and we take every deal as personal to us. We're a low-stress environment. We're not a pressure sales house. If you want to shop us, you're more than welcome to shop us. We have, like I said, great rates, competitive financing, a lot of one-owner, clean Carfax, clean title vehicles. As you see, we have Carfax everywhere. That's most important to us, to educate our customers before they make a purchase. We're right off of Ontario, right off a couple exits off the 15 freeway, off Cahelco, off El Cerrito. and we're right on the main drag going into Dos Logos and the crossings. We have great financing, we have great lenders that we're using. We do buy, sell, trade, cash for your car. Whatever we need to do to help accommodate the customer, that's what we're here for. We have a little bit of everything. We start at about $69.95 and go all the way up to $100,000. We have Escalades, we have commuters, we have pickup trucks, we have Jeeps, sport utilities, and if we don't have it, our specialty is finding you exactly what you're looking for.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
Welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Going strong on a Wednesday, big night of basketball here locally. We've got UC Riverside opening up Big West Conference play at Cal State Fullerton. And also Cal Baptist at home taking on Dominican.
Yes, Can't wait to hear about that one tomorrow.
The Penguins. In fact, intern Cullen will be out there tonight.
Yes.
Bring him in the studio tomorrow. Say, what happened with the Penguins and the Lancers last night?
Right.
Well, welcome back to the show. Before we get back into UCR stuff, Kawhi Leonard, man. Remember, he missed a good chunk of the first part of the season. He kind of went under the radar, disappeared for a little bit, but he's back.
He tore his quad, I believe.
Yeah, he had a bad quad injury, but now he's back. He had a big game last night against the Knicks as San Antonio won 191. Kawhi Leonard, the pride of King High School, 25 points, 8 rebounds, 4 steals, 4 assists. Jeff, you touched on it going into the break that LeBron is probably still the best player in the NBA. Although you like that little guy, what's his name? Steph Curry.
Steph Curry, yes.
I thought you were going to say Buddy Hield or Isaiah Thomas.
I think I said Seth before.
Who used to play for the Kings. He might be on Sacramento still. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
that's Seth Curry, man. He's a good.
Yeah, I think he's the best player. If you look at guys who can handle the ball, shoot, and do all those things, you look at Seth Curry. Seth, right? Steph Curry is the guy that you look at and go, hey, he's a phenomenal player. He's just a midget. But LeBron James at 6'9", I hate him, but I'll love him next year. I'm going to love him. He'll be a Laker next year. But this year I don't like him. But he is the best player probably.
Better than Kawhi? Because people make a case for Kawhi because Kawhi's better on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, but I think if you put Kawhi on the Cavs and then you swap those two, you got the Cavs are better with LeBron.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah. Well, we love Kawhi, and he's back.
Yes.
It's good to see him putting up some huge numbers now. That quad injury is in the rearview mirror. Big win against the Knicks and a big night for Kawhi Leonard. Love the 4 steals, too. He's going to get his points. He's going to get the rebounds. I love the 4 steals, too.
He does it all.
All right, as we head into the break, we're going to come up with a short list of candidates for the UC Riverside men's basketball job.
I've literally thought about this. I thought about this.
Because you usually don't think about this.
No, because I never really had a chance to really. Never thought I would have to think about this. But I have a lot of people that I know here on the West Coast.
You're in the coaching circles.
I'm still, believe it or not,
in the Inland Empire, West Coast.
I still talk to people. It's crazy. I'm surprised they call me.
People still talk to you.
That's the weird thing. Okay, no, here we go. I have 4 people that I think are deserving. Anyone else off that is beyond this, I don't care. Because these guys, I think, are most deserving. And I'll tell you why.
In no particular order, right?
Well,
because they all have their merits.
Is
that what you're saying? They all have their merits.
But I am going to say in a particular order, the first guy. Because I think Justin Bell is, if he does well, he deserves the job. He will keep the continuity of the program. He's in charge of the recruiting. I like Justin Bell. If he does well, he deserves the job. My opinion, it's his job, and his job really to lose. To say, but
we've seen that before, right? Where a coach will step in on an interim basis, and of course, it's protocol. They open up what they call a nationwide search, or they post the job basically, and they take applications. But the interim coach is certainly in the mix, so it's not like it hasn't happened before. It does happen. It happens quite a bit where they just simply take the interim tag off. And now it's your team officially.
Yeah,
I think Coach Cutts was an interim first after
for
Woolridge.
For Woolridge.
Yeah, so it's happened before.
He's the first guy, and I think he deservedly so. If by some chance they choose to go in a different direction, I have my drawer and I have my 3 other names. No particular order here. The first guy I'm going to mention is a guy at San Diego State, Justin Hudson, who's in his second stint with San Diego State. He was at San Diego State for 5 years, went over to UNLV, was an assistant, and then came back to San Diego State. I think
a guy that I actually know too.
Yeah,
former Bakersfield High School head coach.
I just think recruiting wise, he really knows the West Coast, and you really got to recruit the West Coast if you're going to be at Riverside. He can go out nationally. He's got guys out of the area of Southern California and brought him in at San Diego State. I think he has a good idea of winning. You've worked for Steve Fisher. And now you're working for Dutcher, and this Justin Hudson deserves a head coaching job. He's an associate head coach, and he needs his first job. All of these guys that I'm going to mention are going for their first job because you're not going to get a big name. You're not going to get a Mike Krzyzewski's going to UCR.
Wait, are you telling me Coach K is not applying for the job?
I don't think he is.
Okay.
No, and the second guy I would say Greg Gottlieb out of Oregon State. He's a longtime assistant coach. He's got roots across the country. He can recruit nationally. The thing that stands out for me with Greg would be he was at San Diego State as well under Steve Fisher, was part of that recruiting tree that brought in Kawhi, Marcus Slaughter, Jamal Franklin, those guys, those great players. But then he was at 8 years at UC Berkeley under Mike Montgomery, where he recruited for UC. And I think it's important. The UC system is an entirely different entity other than the Cal States. It's just a different animal. So if you've recruited at that UC level, I think
you're kind of going for the same kids, right?
Yeah,
you know what the kids you're going for.
Similar kids. He has grassroots here in Southern California. His brother Doug, was a great player at Oklahoma State. Dad was a great travel ball coach.
Doug, who has a show on Fox Sports. He's on our show,
Yeah, he's on right before us. But I think Greg deserves that opportunity. He's up at Oregon State now. He's under a great staff with Wayne Tinkle. But he's one of those guys you look at and he goes, he deserves his first job. He was an assistant at Sac State. He's been at San Diego State. He's been at Cal and Oregon State. Good programs, deserves a head coaching job. And the last guy is a really no-brainer. I mean, granted, he's my friend. I love him dearly. I've known him since we were little kids. It's a no-brainer in my thought process here is John Smith over at Cal State.
He's going to join us later in the show.
Yeah, I mean, and I haven't really talked to him about this because it's a touchy subject because he's close to Coach Bell as well. But think about it. He led Riverside Community College to a state championship, and it was 43 years in between state championships. And the last guy to do it, he won 3, and he's a pretty good coach, Jerry Tarkanian. But I think John Smith is still a part of the Riverside basketball community. He's entrenched in recruiting, especially in this area, which is a hotbed. He's the one guy I look at and I go, it's a no-brainer. He's really knows the area. He can bring in people back to Riverside. Yeah. Riverside, if you go to games now, there aren't too many people there, but he can bring back those old school Riverside guys back to UC Riverside because people want to follow him. I like him. I as a friend growing up, I follow him to this day. I see how he does. I contact him constantly. But yeah, John Smith is the other guy, and of those 4 guys, he's a no-brainer just because he's from Riverside. And the rest of the guys are all good candidates. Like I said, Justin Bell's deserved it until he loses the job, and the other 3 candidates would be pretty good as well. But that's it. No one else.
Well, we've got a jam-packed show today, but I think on Thursday and even going into next week, we should open up the phone lines and we've had some calls about, who should be maybe the next head coach at UCR, what they think about the coaching switch, but continue to talk about this.
Yes.
Really, also because we're going to find out what the Highlanders look like. I mean, what if Justin Bell leads them to victories at Fullerton and at Santa Barbara? Like, all of a sudden, you're like, okay, well, I guess we have a front runner.
Then you sign him. If he goes out and wins on the road the first 2 games, you sign him. You don't lose him because these guys are going to be looking for jobs tomorrow.
Because, like you mentioned, they're focused on the game. Don't get us wrong. They're professionals. They're worried about winning the basketball game tonight. But in the back of their head, they're thinking, okay, well, what does my future look like? Because with Coach Cutts out of the gone, out of the picture now, out of the program, their future, just as much as his, up in the air a little bit because they don't know. A new coach could come in and say, here's my new guys. Here's my staff.
They're not going to take.
Yeah,
and if it's a complete overhaul, there will be nobody safe in that coaching staff, and it's sad. But they're looking for jobs
guys,
now.
Again, it's so personal. We know these guys. We love these guys.
But they're looking for jobs. They have to. Yeah. There's no ands, ifs,
it's part of the gig. I mean, you were a basketball coach. You get it, right? Like when you got into coaching, you knew that even at the high school level, hey, if you're depending on your athletic director and administration, if you're not doing well, you're not going to last.
No, it's like if you're a professor, you either publish or perish, as they say. Same thing in coaching. If you're getting into that kind of coaching, Division I coaching, you got to know you're going to get fired at some point in your career. I talked at length with Coach Cutts about this. You're going to get fired. And I know he didn't want to be fired, but I'm sure he knew that it was going to come because he's seen it before with other his colleagues and people he's worked with. But he'll be fine. Coach Cutts, I'm telling you, he's going to be fine. He's going to be living in Flagstaff, Arizona if he decides not to coach anymore. Got a beautiful wife. And why not? Retire, open a restaurant, do something fun.
Yeah, Greg's down here laughing. That was a true story. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me sharing this. Yeah. We were cruising around Missoula. Remember, we were live from Missoula for the Montana game. And we were just kind of, just talking, just like, talking NFL, talking just about life as we were driving around. Yeah. And he's like, you know what? He's like, if I wasn't coaching, he's like, I could see myself like opening up some restaurants. And I said, hey, Coach, I got your idea. Cuts. It'd be a steakhouse. Nice cuts of meat.
I could see him. I could see him doing that.
So if he opens up Cuts somewhere,
then you better.
I want a cut of Cuts.
There you go. But no, he's fine. I mean, he's going to get paid for another year and a half. Might as well just hang out.
Hey, not too bad, right? To still get a paycheck and
or he can always come work over here at the end of the sports show with us. Hey, I'm telling you, best gig ever.
This glamorous life. Like, look around.
the best.
You think he wants some of this?
Well, they probably would. We're pretty fun guys to hang out with. We'd laugh, and he would really laugh at the in between commercials here.
Oh man,
yeah.
He'd probably actually enjoy that.
Yes, he would.
Hey, you know what? We're going to talk more about the Highlanders later in the show, but it's time for some kickball when we come back.
I can't wait.
You love the kickball.
Is Pope coming in?
Pope's here. He's
not. No way.
Not the Pope. Dennis Pope.
Oh, I was hoping for the Pope.
Dennis Pope, local soccer guru, is going to break it down for local soccer here in the Inland Empire. Plus some big things going down at the national level here in the United States.
He's a goalie, you know.
He is a goalie.
He
could coach you up.
He's gonna.
Did you think about that?
I've already thought about it.
All right, Dennis Pope, he's coming up. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
I got good news. We're extending arts and crafts time by 4 hours today.
My finger.
Welcome back to the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE, 1350 AM. Going strong on a Wednesday again. A big night for basketball. UCR opening up conference play at Cal State Fullerton. And then back home, Cal Baptist hosting Dominican, the Penguins in town. In non-conference play as the Lancers inch a little bit closer to Pac West play, which is right around the corner. 10-2 for the Lancers.
That's right.
And 10 games at home. That's a lot of home games. But when you have a beautiful new home,
you got to show it off.
You want to crack that thing open and invite everyone over, and it's a wonderful place, the new event center on campus. But Jeff, you call it kickball, foosball.
I call it
all
love.
Kinds of things, but
I call
it's
it love,
soccer, brother.
My favorite goalie is in studio today.
Hey.
My
Who,
own
me?
No.
Oh, no, I didn't play goal.
Yeah, that's right. You played. What position were you?
Dude, I played everything. I think my favorite was either stopper or marking back, because I used to like to slide tackle. I didn't have a lot of skills. I just played physical and fast. As fast as I could, at least.
You're not physical.
Yeah,
Get out of here.
He's a defender.
Yeah.
Defense.
But I did have, there was a couple times I stepped up and scored big-time goals for our team because the offense wouldn't score.
Didn't you score in the quarterfinals? Or the semis?
I did.
Yeah.
Against the Paradise Bobcats. That was a big game.
Yeah, it sounds like a big game.
It was a penalty kick, so I was supposed to do those things. Yeah. Well, we got Dennis Pope. Nobody knows soccer in the Inland Empire like Dennis Pope. And I don't want to get his title wrong because I feel like he's all over the place doing a bunch of wearing a lot of different hats for soccer in the IE. So, Dennis, why don't you tell us what, I don't know, all your titles or positions right now?
Number one is dad, right? I got 3.
Yeah, that's right. You're like I am.
You got those titles, too.
We got a lot of kids. We can start a soccer team.
Almost. It's got to be co-ed. I got girls over here.
There you go. They can play.
I'm Director of Communications for the United Premier Soccer League. We are a pro development league in the United States. We're the largest pro development league in the country. We have almost 130 teams nationwide, coast to coast, in all 4 time zones and 27 states.
So that's a lot of soccer.
Indeed.
It's more than I can even figure out.
Because if you follow them on Twitter, they're always expanding. You're adding new franchises.
We got a new team today that I could break news on.
Go ahead, break the news.
We got Summerlin Red Rocks FC out of Summerlin, Nevada. They'll be coming in to start the spring 28 season in the Nevada Conference.
Nice, Red Rocks.
Another team tomorrow, which I will not break news on.
Uh-oh.
Another team.
Every day, they're just sprouting out of the ground like crazy right now.
Sprouting. A lot of these teams, especially in the Midwest, have long histories, right? Super long histories. So Croatian Eagles and Milwaukee Bavarians, those teams date back 60, 70, 80 years. And so they've joined the league come spring.
Bavarian?
That's the best name ever. Yeah. The Milwaukee Bavarians? I want to play for those guys.
Sounds barbaric. I could play for that team.
That sounds like,
tackling.
They're very good. They were in U.S. Amateur Cup semifinal.
Were they really?
Yeah, they're super good.
So this kind of begs the question as we're talking about the UPSL, and you're talking about all these different teams. Are they all in the same division? And where is U.S. soccer right now in terms of having a uniform body and you know, I guess you call it a Premier League, like the La Liga, like the very top, and then divisions working all the way down. And so we have a system in America where you know exactly, okay, this is the steps I need to take to grow. I mean, also like minor league baseball, you know, okay, rookie ball, I go to single A, I go to double A, triple A, and then there's the major leagues. Do we have something like that? Are we working towards something like that?
Absolutely not, and sort of. There is no unified pyramid. There is no unified structure to see a player from youth go all the way to professional. There are steps being taken by both Major League Soccer and clubs nationwide to make that
Dennis,
happen.
can you go ahead and just grab the mic for us? Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure thing. And so these teams don't really have the levels that it takes to take a youth to the pro ranks. So that's why you see kids opting out, trying to get to Europe and things like that.
Which we want to keep them here, right? Isn't that the goal?
You want to have them playing wherever the best soccer is being played, ideally, right? You would like to see superstars stay home. I think that's an ideal of every countryman in every country. You'd like to see your best players playing. But that's not always the case, right? You see talented players go to Germany and England and try what they can do there. So that's not really happening here in the States. And with this upcoming U.S. presidential soccer,
which is a big deal. Like I see it on the websites all the time. Like it's a big deal. ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports. They're all talking about who's going to be the president because this could be very defining, right, going forward for American soccer.
Yeah, with Sunil Gulati having decided to step aside, this is the sea change moment for United States soccer. Will the voting blocks, and they're made up of several different categories from state associations to the youth to former professional players, will they decide on a change candidate or will they decide on the in-house candidate? And those candidates, there's 8 current candidates for U.S. soccer president. The current favorite is Eric Winalda. He's polling anywhere from 50 to 75% nationally.
A Fox Sports broadcaster,
Yeah.
Former outside of maybe Landon Donovan, LA Wolves head coach, right?
He was the LA Wolves head coach. Yes.
He was in the past tense. But I saw him over the summer.
Yep.
And, he's a great coach and obviously a great broadcaster and one of the greatest American players of all time.
Yeah, he's a real bright personality, especially on social media. He knows how to communicate with people, and he's really been able to reach not really the electorate, but sort of get the imaginations of
because he has a lot of ideas, right? He has a lot of ideas how to change American soccer for the better and implement it.
Now, hypothetically, aren't they thinking that they want to start maybe at the MLS as the top in the United States, and then they're going to work their way down all the way to youth based on the level? I mean, if you're playing great or playing poorly in the MLS, hypothetically, you could get kicked out of the MLS, and a minor league team could possibly.
Well, that's what they do in Europe, right?
Okay, yeah, that's a system called promotion and relegation. It takes place in England and Germany and Spain. The idea of having that here in the States is what every soccer follower wants. I would say across the board, I don't think there's anybody who says they don't want pro-rel, as it's commonly referred to.
Pro-rel, Jeff.
I'm going to know that.
But MLS is a closed entity, right? They charge expansion fees to enter their league. They're not in any way interested in integrating or having their teams or those investors lose out on that investment by being relegated potentially. So there's ways to mitigate that loss, and they do it in England with parachute payments for teams that are relegated. And that's super far down the line. I'm getting super far ahead of myself. But first, you have to have stable leagues that can sustain themselves before you can start to promote and relegate. We're getting there. There are several leagues in this country that are stable enough to have that. The UPSL has initiated its own promotion relegation system. There's 2 divisions, the Pro Premier and the Championship Division, and teams have been promoted from the Championship Division already. So it is happening, but it's within its own. We're our own league.
Yeah,
right.
It's not overall for American soccer.
Correct. There's no integration between the leagues, and so that is something that will have to happen first at the federation level at U.S. Soccer, and then because it's been mandated by FIFA already. In order for the U.S. to host the '94 World Cup, part of the stipulation was that you would have promotional or professional leagues that featured promotion and relegation. That still hasn't happened. So it's called Article 9 of the FIFA law. It's a whole thing.
Man, we're going deep.
Yeah, we are.
Deep dive
Deep
today.
dark place.
So this has yet to happen for U.S. Soccer. Will it, and will a new president initiate that process? Remains to be seen. The best hope that I think most soccer fans feel they have is with Eric Winalda.
Well, we're talking with Dennis Pope here on the Inland Sports Show, Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Eric Winalda, he was the all-time leading goal scorer until Landon Donovan from Redlands came along.
That's correct.
Obviously, he's been around a lot of soccer, coached a lot of soccer. What's that?
Winalda's now 3rd behind Donovan and Dempsey.
Oh, Dempsey passed him too.
Of course.
Man.
Of course, Dempsey.
Winalda was my guy on those ugly, like, denim jerseys.
You remember,
Do you remember
the denim kits?
Did
Those
you
are
like
classic.
that?
Yeah, those are
had like the stars across it. It looked like this denim color. It was like the Alexi Lawless, Marcelo Balboa.
That was 1990, 89, 90.
Yeah. Tony Miola was in the goal. Anyways, I'm nerding out real hard. But so you talk about where Eric Winalda and he wanted to be president. What's kind of his platform? If you were going to say like he was a politician, like what's he out there putting out saying, listen, this is why I should be in charge of American soccer because I have ideas to get us to, I don't know, the levels of what we see in Europe and whatnot because, you know, people probably look down their noses at America like, okay, they have MLS, they have all these soccer leagues, but it's still not what we're doing over here. He has ideas.
Yeah, he played in Germany, and so a lot of his ideas are based upon the German Bundesliga model.
The Bundesliga.
The Bundesliga.
I like that.
Right? And so his platform first is transparency with U.S. Soccer. They have a giant stipend that they're not using. There's questionable ethics being taken place with how they're running their campaign and who they're putting in place to be president. So there's a lot of issues in-house with U.S. Soccer that need to be cleaned up first, and I think that is the issue that overrides everything. Once you open up the books at U.S. Soccer, then things start to happen, right? There's the whole FIFA trial going on, and
It sounds pretty muddy. Like there's so
muddy.
much going on, and it sounds just murky. And it's not like one of those solutions where like, well, here's the solution. All you have to do is do this, and it fixes the problem. It sounds like there's so many layers to pull away from this.
And everybody's taking money, and without getting too harsh on the people involved, how is it that the FBI brings about charges against FIFA without U.S. Soccer's involvement on some level? How did they escape, any scrutiny whatsoever? So you start to think, and without being too capricious about what I'm saying, there's a lot that is left on the table from U.S. Soccer towards its constituents. I mean, I pay $25 a season to U.S. Soccer to play here locally, and so does every player in an amateur league, every youth player. Part of their fees go to U.S. Soccer. Where's that money going? What are they doing? So
why? One more question in this segment before we're going to take a break here, and if we hopefully we can keep you over for one more.
Sure.
But why do you think the women's national team feels like they're light years ahead to where the men's team is? Is it because the international competition? Like, are the women's teams internationally just not as strong as what you'd see with the men's side?
That's correct. For the last 20 years, the international game for the women hasn't been as strong anywhere else but the States. Now teams are starting to catch up, right? There's China and other countries that are competing with the United States, especially those in Europe. So it's been a matter of the playing field first and foremost, but they haven't ever received the amount of support from the federation that the men's team has received. So they're doing this out of talent, grit, hard work, and the playing field, right? All those things factor into the women's success, I think.
All right, can you hang around for a little bit?
I'm here.
Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk a little high school soccer with you in the Inland Empire because we got some really good teams and players. And Jeff wants to try out for the Ontario Fury as a goalkeeper.
I am ready.
See, you're in luck because Pope's a goalkeeper.
He's my favorite.
We're going to have him give you some tips when we come back.
Sounds good to me.
You're going to need it. I just don't want you to get hurt. That's really the biggest thing. I don't want you to get all broken up.
This face will not break.
Really?
It won't.
Greg's
it's already broke.
Greg's right on cue with the sound effect. We'll be right back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
The Inland Empire's home for all things IE just got even better. Introduce.
I played once upon a time at Centennial High School. I was actually on the first ever CIF championship team back in 2000, and then my senior year we won it again. I'd say that's my passion because I've done it. I know exactly where these athletes are at. I know what their mindset is right now. I know how hard it is to, number one, find a performance coach who can take you to the next level. What sets us apart has to be, how we work with our athletes and what we know. We can take an athlete and help them reach their athletic potential, help them, prevent injuries, help get them stronger. I know every single athlete who steps into this gym. I know exactly where they're at, and I'm going to progress them every week. If you're not getting results, then, what's it about? We're going to deliver something that's measurable, in terms of speed, power, strength, agility.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. You come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Corum.
Welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, the one and only on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. We're proudly brought to you by Spoiled, quick quality oil change, Ken Sporting Goods, Boost Performance Training, and Catalano Motors in Corona. We got Dennis Pope in the house. Nobody knows soccer like Dennis here in the Inland Empire, which begs the question, the face of soccer in the Inland Empire has been Landon Donovan. In fact, my wife cheered for him when they were in high school, and he played high school soccer first because he started at RHS at Redlands before going to Rev, and my wife used to cheer for him.
He didn't play that much, though.
No, he didn't before he left.
Did they date?
No. I think my wife was a little older than him.
So, did they date?
No.
He's small. She wouldn't be interested.
No, my wife hit the jackpot. Right?
She married down. You married up, she married down.
You know, and I still brag because obviously my wife didn't get to see me play soccer growing up. I'm like, I was pretty good in my day. I'd score some goals and, led the team to the playoffs, did this and did that.
Hey,
She's like, well, I cheered for Landon Donovan. What do you say when Landon Donovan's in the picture?
She cheered at soccer games?
Yeah, they used to cheer. They used to cheer everywhere. Like volleyball, soccer, like they used to go everywhere and cheer.
Your wife kind of reminds me of Gidget. Yeah, she looks like a cheerleader.
Gidget?
Yeah, Gidget.
Like the old beach blanket
real
bingo
cute.
or whatever that was?
Yes, your wife reminds. She's a cutie.
Annette Funicello?
No, not that. No, the Sally Field version of Gidget.
Gidget.
Yeah.
She's kind of gidgety.
She is. She's very cute little lady. I don't know what she sees in you, but she's very cute.
Soccer star. That's what she saw.
I'm sorry, I went off the deep end there.
Going back to Landon Donovan, because I'm all up to my ears in high school football and UC Riverside basketball. But what is Landon Donovan doing right now, Pope?
He's trying to get an MLS or professional team to San Diego. He's part of that movement.
When you say, like, does he want to be, like, part owner?
He lives down there now, right, with his family, his wife and his two sons, I think. He's got both boys. So, yeah, he's part of that attempted ownership group. And he is the one of the more vocal faces of it. Yeah.
Well, if Landon Donovan's behind it, I would put him as the poster boy, right? Like, hey, we want to bring MLS to San Diego. Look who we got behind us.
Right. And so, yeah, in doing that, he's sort of bringing soccer to another area, right? He's not bringing soccer to the IE, bringing soccer to San Diego. You got plenty of soccer to San Diego.
So they want to build a stadium?
Yeah,
is that the deal?
Group. Yeah, he's part of that group. Yeah. Trying to bring it to the Valley there.
They're supposed to announce it here in the next month, I believe. Mm-hmm. There's something going on. There's some movement.
They're trying to negotiate with State University, I think, and try and do a dual.
So where San Diego State would play there and in the MLS franchise?
Potentially, I think that's one of the ideas, yeah.
So I bet you people in San Diego, and don't get me wrong, like a soccer stadium like you would see at StubHub is a lot different than what you would see at a traditional NFL stadium. People would be like, wait, the MLS team was able to get this done? Like, what's wrong with the Chargers? You know? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if there's that conversation out there right now, but if the MLS is able to get in there and make it look easy, people in San Diego are going to be like, what's the deal?
Yeah, and I think part of that conglomerate is going to also build an arena as well as part of the complex.
Yeah, they want to do a big thing, so I think it's different people, a better project maybe.
Mm-hmm. An arena, huh? Because they have AHL hockey. They got the goals down there. They do have the San Diego Sockers.
But I know they want to get rid of not really get rid of it, but replace the sports arena.
I think it's old.
And they do want to, I think they were talking about having MLS and a new arena and a possible football stadium as well, all within the same confines, which would be kind of cool.
Who is this guy over here? Like,
I don't know, but
who is he?
I read all this stuff. I can't believe it. I know. I'm telling you, it's weird.
He puts on this lavender shirt. I just don't even know who he is anymore. Like,
is this purple almost?
It is.
No, I thought it was blue again. Gosh darn it.
Jeff's colorblind, so sometimes he doesn't know. No, seriously, that's a true story. He's colorblind.
I have a colorblind friend, yeah. He's got the same issue.
I'm going to a UCR game, and I thought I was wearing a blue shirt. I'm wearing a purple shirt.
You're like supporting the team.
Yeah, all right. I'm not. Sorry.
I think the Dominican Penguins might be purple. So
they could be.
You might be.
I'll go cover that game tonight.
Go over there tonight. So, yeah, I didn't know Landon Donovan part of that group pushing for MLS.
Right.
And that should happen soon in San Diego?
They're going to announce it in the next month. I know that.
Like a decision.
There's going to be something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some movement.
Yeah.
Some way or the other, yeah.
If we were going to play MLS in the IE, where could we play, Pope? Would they have to build a new stadium? Could we play at, I don't know, Auto Club Speedway? We were kind of tossing that around on the infield.
That's super big for soccer.
I know.
Right?
With huge crowds in the IE, man. We love it.
They built a decent facility at the Fairplex, right? When SoCal.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, I've been out there.
Right. I think they would have to build some sort of temporary pop-up stadium to sustain a professional team for the time being. There's no facility here currently that can do that. Although Silver Lakes and Norco is building a professional stadium facility there on site that will seat. I think they estimate 8,000 to 12,000.
That's pretty big.
And they hosted that game between UCLA women and I want to say the Seattle Reign.
I remember that.
Sounds
the
about
parking
right,
issue was ridiculous. I drove by it. It was ridiculous.
Wait, on the 15 you were
Yes,
by?
I said I was wondering where all these cars were coming from, all these people, and then I found out. I think I found out through Pope here, and I was like,
Soccer,
craziness.
Yeah, so they've done it, and the UPSL hosted our championships there in the spring at the fields at which they hope to build the stadium. So it's a process. Everything's a process, but there's no current facility here in the IE. The best soccer facility is probably at UC Riverside. Right, but that's built within the campus and it's sort of locked in.
Yeah,
there's no room to make it bigger.
It's a beautiful stadium.
I know what you're gonna say.
San Bernardino Valley College, the new stadium. But the problem is we found out because we were trying to stream some of their games live on IEMG. They had one regular season game inside the stadium, but when they got to the playoffs, they had to play it on the grass because it wasn't quite regulation. I don't know if it was long enough, wide enough, but there was something about it. It just wasn't up to par for playoff soccer. So I don't know if professional soccer could go in there, but we're just shooting from the hip right now.
Do they have soccer laid out on
They do have the lines.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, they do have the lines because the men and the women each had one regular season game inside the stadium, and then the women made the playoffs and had a home match. And I remember calling over there saying, hey, we're interested in doing the game, but we would need to be up in the press box. It'd have to be inside the stadium, not out on the normal field on the grass. And they said, no, we can't do it in the stadium because there's something about the dimensions of the field. Yeah, it just wouldn't work for playoff soccer.
I don't know what the junior college specifications are. You'd think they'd be FIFA regulations, right? So it'd have to be 75 by 120, so at least. And that's hard to do on some football fields, so especially when they have tight sidelines.
All right, so we're going to
local soccer or high school soccer we wanted to chat on?
Yeah, we want to do high school soccer too. We're going to take up some money and try to build us an MLS stadium and challenge Landon Donovan. Do it for the IE, right?
Yes.
Going to San Diego. We're going to build one here in the IE. I've seen some high school soccer already this year. First, I want to start with Indian Springs, the Indian Springs boys team winning a SoCal title. I think people forget that they didn't win the San Andreas League. They didn't win a CIF title, but they won a Southern California championship. I know there's a lot of new faces. I don't know if you had a chance to see them in person yet, but they've already set the bar really high for that program, and they got a new head coach.
They have a new head coach, and that's the sort of the most interesting part of the process. Even though they did battle and persevere and get all the way to that SoCal championship to beat Citrus Hill in a rematch,
which was crazy.
Game.
Like the stars aligned perfectly for them, right?
And they just kept playing. Some teams opt out of those state playoff games, but they chose to keep playing, and it worked out brilliantly for them. And then John Ariant decides to step aside, and they have a new head coach. So how does that factor into what they want to try to accomplish, backing that up? I don't know if they're one of the more talented teams in San Bernardino, but certainly they're going to be looked at with a target now.
Yeah.
They're CIF state champion.
They have a huge banner at the stadium. They do have some guys. Remember the Godinez brothers? They're both back. They're pretty good.
Jackson Buck, they have a really solid center defender, too, that's coming back. So they're strong, but I don't think they had quite the attacking talent that they had last year. Right?
Yeah, I think even the goalkeeper's back, right? Renee, was it Renee? No, Luis Hernandez. Luis Hernandez. So defensively, they're probably going to pitch a lot of shutouts, but it's getting the goals on the offensive end.
And it depends on what the new coach tactically and how he inspires, right? So
Isaac Canella. I actually saw him at the San G shootout last week, which they were the defending champions. And they got
the quarters or the semis.
The quarters against Patriot, who's actually pretty good. Patriot's going to have a good team. That River Valley League's actually pretty competitive with, I think Los Sierra's got a decent team.
Norte Vista's very good.
Yeah, Norte Vista's always pretty good. So that could be a fun league to watch in terms of high school.
For the first time, maybe pretty good in soccer.
Yeah. That could be one to keep an eye on. How about going back to the Tilson Classic? Riverside Poly won the whole thing.
Second year in a row.
They're, year in and year out, they're really good. And what's funny is last year they had twins, on the team.
Right.
This year they got twins again, and I believe they're from Germany. Is that what I heard?
Different kind of twins. Yeah, they're from Germany. They're the Mendel brothers.
Mendel brothers, yeah.
Laketrick and Deshaun. Didi and Lucky, as they're known.
Is that what they call? It's a little easier saying Laketrick. Was it Laketrick?
Yeah, Laketrick.
Okay.
He's a wing player, an attacking wing player. And Deshaun is basically a striker. And they're both super fast. They dominate back lines in the 3 games I saw them play. Their midfielders would send balls that you wouldn't think they'd be able to track down, but they get down into the corners, they get the ball, and they fire in crosses that are super hard, and you can tell that they've had an advanced level of training. I talked to them after the championship game, and they're super shy kids, but their English is great. Their dad's an American, so he brought them back here to the States to play at Poly for one final season and trying to achieve an athletic scholarship of some kind, and see how far they can go with that. But they are 2 of the more dominant players I've seen in the last couple of years, and it's just interesting that they're twins.
So an American dad, they could play for Team USA. Just saying, way down the road, if they're that good to make the U.S. national team.
They are on par with some of the more physical and fast players that I've seen the last few years. which includes some current professionals now. So I think they have that potential to get there. How many chances and opportunities they get, will be the determining factor for them.
They just look really good. I was like, this is a really good Riverside Poly team. I looked through some of their scores.
And maybe their best player even is a midfielder, Ivan Cano, number 10. Just a fantastic playmaking midfielder. He knows what to do, plays defense. He's just smart. They can shift him around at every attacking position. So, yeah.
I know the Inland Empire always has a rich tradition of high school soccer guys who have gone on to great college careers. Even on the women's side, I think of like Cody Lavruski out of Ukaipa High School, who went on to UCLA. She was a stud. Looking at the landscape this year, throw out some teams or names for boys or girls that we should keep an eye on here in the Inland Empire, because again, we've seen some of these athletes go on to have some pretty big careers.
No doubt. Not to neglect the girls' side at all, but Corona Santiago is, the cream of the crop out here in the Inland Empire. They have 17, 18 girls who are going to achieve athletic scholarships. And so they're just steps away from, another potential run at a CIF championship. Carly Weeks, a forward out of Redlands East Valley, is going to go to BYU, I think. And she's super talented. There's just a lot of really good teams. There's no other real great teams out here right now. Chino Hills puts together a good program. Coach Palencia over there. Let's see who else among the boys. There's the
usual suspects, right? Like Indian Springs, Citrus Hill.
Corona's pretty good.
What about Rev?
Rev, coaching change, right?
Yeah.
Ted Small is no longer there. So they're sort of in the process of a transition. They have several good players on defense, but they're lacking that stability maybe a little bit now, and it'll be interesting to see how they fare in CBL and then going into the playoffs. You'd think they'd be a playoff team still, though.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
They're still good.
Riverside King's good. They got a good defender, Jack Clark. Some good midfield pieces. They'll be competitive in the Big 8 against Corona, and they have an outstanding forward whose name escapes me off the moment. His last name's Fernandez. So it's got to be pretty good.
Yeah, right? He's got to be the greatest. I mean, I'll tell you all about it.
He's super good. Everybody kind of projects him as a professional talent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's 6'3", super skilled up front, can turn. He struggled against Poly. Poly swarmed him, made life difficult for him in the championship game of the Tilson Cup, and he ended up not playing his best, I would think, and then subbing out late in the game. But he is definitely a talent
to watch.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's a lot of good teams. I know maybe outside of the Citrus Belt League, now we're really getting into league play beginning next week. The CBL, they might already be a couple games in to league play, but we're keeping an eye on a lot of these leagues. Again, I wanted to ask you about the Tilson because Riverside Poly looked really good.
The other thing about the Tilson is with the change in the athletic schedule next year, the Tilson might cease to exist. League play will start in December now, start for high school soccer instead of in January for most leagues. And so that could do away with the Tilson Cup. Why would teams play in a non-league tournament
in the middle of league play?
So potentially there's the idea that they could get a waiver during the holiday season for teams who host those traditional tournaments to still do that, because that's a big moneymaker for those programs.
It's wall-to-wall soccer.
Yeah.
I mean, teams constantly going in and out, and we're talking about concession stands and all kinds of stuff that goes into it.
And not only Tilson, I mean, that happens all over the Southland.
Yeah.
Right? So I think there's still a need for that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's a tradition here in the Inland Empire. We don't want to see that go away.
28th year of the Tilson this year.
Do you think that's the longest running?
In Southern California, it is.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's the longest consecutively running high school soccer boys varsity tournament in Southern California.
Man, that's a big deal.
It is.
They got to. I mean, could they bump it up maybe earlier in the season? I mean, find a way to keep it alive.
There's more talk about what to do. There's a number of possibilities, but traditionally the Tilson is a Christmas break.
Yeah, like
tournament.
right before Christmas, and then they finish right after, right?
So,
yeah.
It'll be tough. It'll be tough. They move it to Thanksgiving, before the season? That would be a massive shift, and that affects the club soccer, which is a direct adversary to high school soccer here in Southern California. Club soccer players don't become eligible until like middle of October, right? So I mean, or November in some cases. So that could be
the
difficult.
timing of it. Yeah,
because a lot of clubs team play big Thanksgiving weekend tournaments, right? They travel that weekend to play massive tournaments nationwide. So
something you have to adjust to going forward now.
It'll be a big shift next year in high school soccer.
Well, Pope, we always appreciate the time. We'll let you continue your stomping for Eric Winalda out there to become the new president of U.S. Soccer, right?
Yeah, he's got to be the guy. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and it's, if we don't elect a change candidate and he's the best option right now, then I think U.S. Soccer's doomed to another at least 4 years of mediocrity and maybe longer.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Right? We want promotion relegation. We want an open system for clubs to compete and players to progress and to be in more line with the world standard, right? Which also means shifting the playing calendar and doing all those things and taking MLS away and the professional tier away from the grasp of people who don't want to see it become a bigger, better thing.
Yeah.
Because initially, as everybody knows, Major League Soccer was started by NFL owners as a summer tenant for their stadiums, right? So,
moneymaker, right? It's all about the money.
For sure. And so any change of that in that system that's lasted now 22 years is going to be fought tooth and nail against those investors. So we have that to look forward to here.
Well, keep us up to date. And if you can get Eric Winalda on our show,
we'll see what happens.
We would love to have it. I interviewed him back in the day when he was doing Bakersfield Brigade stuff. Long time ago.
Yeah, he loves to talk, so maybe he will.
He does. Yeah, talk to him for us. And then if you hear anything about Landon Donovan, the San Diego thing, hit us up. We'd love to hear about it as well.
See what Lando's up to.
Lando, look, you guys are tight, man.
I've actually never met Landon Donovan. I don't want to portray.
Because he never comes back.
Yeah, he's right. He's never around. Right? Well, I did get a chance to see him at that ESPN special when they did the hometown thing.
Oh, right? Yeah, he did come back for that.
But that was
made-for-TV event.
Yeah, that was a convoluted mess. Yeah.
All right, the great Dennis Pope. When we come back, we'll talk a little high school football. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
Let's give them something to talk.
We're small, family-owned, strive for quality pre-owned vehicles. We're not a volume dealer, and we take every deal as personal to us. We're a low-stress environment. We're not a pressure sales house. If you want to shop us, you're more than welcome to shop us. We have, like I said, great rates, competitive financing, a lot of one-owner, clean Carfax, clean title vehicles. As you see, we have Carfax everywhere. That's most important to us, to educate our customers before they make a purchase. We're right off of Ontario, right off a couple exits off the 15 freeway, off Cajalco, off El Cerrito, and we're right on the main drag going into Dos Logos and the Crossings. We have great financing, we have great lenders that we're using. We do buy, sell, trade, cash for your car. Whatever we need to do to help accommodate the customer, that's what we're here for. We have a little bit of everything. We start at about $69.95 and go all the way up to $100,000. We have Escalades, we have commuters, we have pickup trucks, we have Jeeps, sport utilities, and if we don't have it, our specialty is finding you exactly what you're looking for.
Focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. Come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
played once upon a time at Centennial High School. I was actually on the first ever CIF championship team back in 2000, and then my senior year we won it again. I'd say that's my passion because I've done it. You know, I know exactly where these athletes are at. I know what their mindset is right now. I know how hard it is to, number one, find a performance coach who can take you to the next level. What sets us apart has to be, you know, how we work with our athletes and what we know. We can take an athlete and help them reach their athletic potential, help them, prevent injuries, help get them stronger. I know every single athlete who steps into this gym. I know exactly where they're at, and I'm going to progress them every week. If you're not getting results, then, what's it about? We're going to deliver something that's measurable, in terms of speed, power, strength, agility.
U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Todos el guapo.
We're back to the Inland Sports Show. Here are your hosts, Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham.
Welcome back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM. Dennis Pope's going to be our soccer guru, breaking down any local headlines. And again, he's all up in the middle of that U.S. soccer push to get Eric Winalda as the new president. Winalda's a SoCal guy. I used to cover him a couple of years ago when he kind of it wasn't a return to soccer. I wouldn't say he came out of retirement, but he was still playing professionally, but at a lower level just for fun and did some coaching. So I had an opportunity to get to know him there. But Eric Winalda trying to make a push to become president of U.S. Soccer, which, like you heard from Dennis Pope, it sounds like overwhelmingly that's what the soccer folks out here in the United States would like to see happen. Again, he was soccer's all-time leading scorer. So anyone who donned the red, white, and blue, the stars and stripes, Eric Winalda was the leading goal scorer for the U.S. men's national team for a long time. And then a guy named Landon Donovan came along, the pride of Redlands. Played at Redlands High School, played at Redlands East Valley before moving on to a professional career. But Landon Donovan broke the record from Eric Winalda, and then now Clinton Dempsey has also passed Winalda. But in terms of the biggest names in American soccer, Eric Winalda is right up there, and now he wants to take the U.S. Soccer Federation and steer it into a direction where we can compete with the rest of the world. And I think that's what everybody else wants too. Do we have professional soccer in the U.S.? Yeah. Do we have some great stars like Landon Donovan, like Eric Winalda, like Clinton Dempsey? Yeah, we sure do. But I think I still get the feeling that the rest of the world, I know they do, they look down their nose at us saying, yeah, you guys, it's fun. We'll let you do your thing over there, but it's not quite what we're doing over here in Europe or South America for that matter. So Eric Winalda, he's got some big ideas. He's got some big plans, and he wants to execute them as the president and try to bring up U.S. soccer to that next level so we can compete. I mean, we're not even going to the World Cup this year for the United States. We didn't qualify for the World Cup, and that can't happen. Exactly. It's a shame. And those things can't happen when you wear the stars and stripes, and Eric Winalda is going to try to fix that. So a big thanks to Dennis Pope. He will keep us up to date on the very latest with the future of the U.S. Soccer Federation. And, of course, what's going on with Landon Donovan and the possible Major League Soccer franchise down in San Diego. How would that be if the MLS is able to get into San Diego and build a beautiful new stadium down there? And all the football fans, the NFL fans down there are looking around saying, well, why couldn't we do this for football? Yes, a football stadium is much bigger than a soccer stadium. I get that. But look at the Chargers. They're playing at StubHub Center, right? That's 27,000. they could do that. So, anyways, we'll see what happens with Landon Donovan. And if Landon Donovan's part of your ownership group, of course you're going to put him out front. He's going to be the face of this group trying to buy and bring an expansion franchise to San Diego for Major League Soccer. It happens all the time. I mean, look at like Derek Jeter and the Florida Marlins. If you got a guy like Derek Jeter behind your project to bring a professional franchise or take new ownership over a franchise, you're gonna use the famous guy, right? It's gonna be Derek Jeter. It's gonna be Landon Donovan. Something that people in the community can recognize. And in terms of, again, of American soccer, it doesn't get any bigger than Landon Donovan. So the fact that he's putting his name on it, on this possible San Diego franchise and stadium, I think that carries a lot of weight. Real quick, another football note before we wrap up this segment. Of course, we got the Army All-American Bowl going down in San Antonio, Texas. You can watch the game live on national television on NBC. It's always the first Saturday in January. So many big names have gone through the Army All-American Bowl and have gone on to the NFL. We've got several from the Inland Empire. Justin Dietich, out of Chaparral High School, the USC Trojan. He did our show, I think it was the week right after Christmas, right after Christmas. He's going to be going to USC right after the Army All-American Bowl. We got Centennial quarterback Tanner McKee, and we're hoping to get Tanner McKee on the show in the next day or two from San Antonio. Already reached out to him, and he said he could do it. We're going to make sure we can make that happen. And Jeremiah Martin out of Cajon High School, the big-time football and basketball star, defensive end, all those guys at the Army All-American Bowl in San Antonio. And our good friend Edwin Weathersby, because we have a good relationship with the Army All-American folks and Football University. We had a chance to pick a guy to send him to the Junior All-American Combine. So we're real tight with the Army All-American Bowl folks, and Edwin Weathersby from the Army All-American Bowl. He's going to check in with us on Friday, give us an update from San Antonio. Again, these are the guys that we're going to be talking about at the college level. These guys are going to SEC schools, Pac-12 schools, USC, UCLA. These guys are big time, and give them a couple of years because we'll probably be talking about them in the NFL as well. That's how good this prestigious national all-star game is. It's no IE All-Star Classic, but it's close. It's the Army All-American Bowl, and we're going to talk more about it Thursday and Friday with hopefully Tanner McKee. We can work out a time with him, and also Edwin Weathersby from the Army All-American Bowl. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM, well, we're going to hear from John Smith, the associate head basketball coach at Cal State Fullerton. Get you ready for the Titans and the UCR Highlanders tonight. Big West Conference opener. We'll be right back. It's the one and only Inland Sports Show on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM.
All right, I've had enough. You're out of here. What do you mean? You can't throw an umpire out of the game.